So, okay, so your door's been kicked in, you're handcuffed, and I guess the lead investigator, or whoever that is, had some words for you. Wow.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm on the computer, back to stock market trading.
Right.
Bam, 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 bam. Oh, shit. Jump up, look through the people, blacked out, thinking, what am I going to do, let them in? Or, you know, are these people police, or are they people pretending to be police come to rob me? Go to the window, entire complex is surrounded, police cars. Oh, shit. Go to the bedroom, what we're going to do, we're talking to my girlfriend, better let them in. Halfway through the living room, boom! I'll never forget, it's in platinum. Door just goes, bam! Just bounces off the wall and flips and does all this shit. Hands above your head, don't fucking move, get on the ground! Fuck. And you're looking at them, man, they're all kitted out.
Yeah.
But you can see their eyes through these like plastic protection things.
Right.
And you can see in their eyes that if you fuck up, your life's just over in a second.
Dead,
yeah, so they're all, get on that fucking ground, hands above your heads, don't move. So you just drop like a sack of spuds. Anyway, the detective, who I learned was my nemesis, he yanks me up by the handcuffs. He's like, English Shaun, you're a big name from the rave scene. You know, we've finally got you, blah, blah, blah. I start screaming to my girlfriend, I'm exercising my right to remain silent, love. And they end up throwing me down the outdoor stairs.
Oh, you serious?
And shipping me off in a car. Because the New Mexican mafia had schooled me on police etiquette by now. Remember earlier I was naive, driving around with drugs over the speed limit, but we were a streamlined operation by the end of it. And they said if anything gets ever gets heavy,
Right.
contact this lawyer. And that lawyer ends up forming a united front for us and gets my sentence down from 200 years to much less.
Yeah.
I fought the case for 26 months, but like, you know, the Takashi thing, like he rolled over right away.
Yeah.
He had the money to get a high-priced lawyer to form a united front for those guys.
Yeah, I know.
I've done videos on it.
Yeah, I've seen
this is where he's messed up. This is where he's messed up.
I mean, that guy, I mean, no comment. But
he blew his reputation.
Yeah, no comment. No comment. So as far as the indictments now, Sammy the Bull's faction, I guess, were indicted first. Yeah. And they had 57 people on the indictment, and 57 cooperated.
Yep.
Now, your indictment is over 100 people.
We got multiple people getting arrested in groups.
Right.
First group was like 12, 13, but there's over the months there's more and more groups.
Right.
Which ends up over 100, and only 4 cooperated.
Only 4 cooperated.
Yeah. I fought it for 26 months. I was the last man standing.
Right.
And it was, believe me.
So you took it to trial? You didn't cop out or nothing?
No.
All right.
98% of the cases in Arizona go to plea bargain.
Right.
If you go to trial, heaven help you. A plea bargain is not snitching.
No, it's not.
A plea bargain is just, you get up in front of the judge, you say, I'm guilty to this charge, and he sentences you. Yeah, because I hadn't cooperated though, they pulled out every dirty trick in the book on me over the 26 months. Yeah. And if you read my book, Hard Time, it details it.
Definitely will, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you're facing 200 years. And
200 years, and that's in the second year.
This lawyer got it down to what, 6 years?
No, let me go back. So first indictment, right? I've got, 10 to 12 charges. They all carry like 5 to 10 year max. And they also slap serious drug offender status on me, which is 25 to life.
Is that Kingpin, like the CC, Continued Criminal Enterprise?
So it was the state who prosecuted me, not the feds.
Right,
So it might be equivalent to federal Kingpin stuff.
Yeah.
But that's how they describe it under Arizona state. It's a serious drug offender status. So in the beginning, I'm facing life and possibly 100 years. A year in, I asked for my bail to get reduced at $750,000 cash only. They doubled my bail to 1.5 million and moved me over to max security. That's when my blog starts out on max security.
Yeah.
I'm in max security for about 14 months. And when they double my bail, they also double my charges. So now I've got 20 plus charges.
Crazy.
All of which carry a maximum of 10. So if I go to trial and lose now, I'm facing 200 years. So we've paid the New Mexican Mafia lawyer 100 grand. He gets it down to 9.5 years in the end.
Who is this? Is this Albert Krieger or like Johnny Cochran?
His name's Alan Simpson.
Right.
The prosecutor was joking that he should get the patch for the New Mexican Mafia on his arm.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, if without Alan Simpson, I'd still be in prison right now.
For sure.
Yeah, because the prison system preys off people who've got no money and no resources and throws them away for life.
Yeah,
and that became part of my activism later on.
For sure.
But right then I was just fighting for my life. And the most stressful thing is not the violence, the gangs, and all that shit and the cockroaches. It's thinking you're never ever going to get your life back.
For sure.
If you faced the possibility of never getting out of prison, it's a unique thing, and it puts a pressure on your brain that led to me to contemplating suicide. I was planning on killing myself a few times. I'm not asking for pity. I'm just trying to lay it out, the psychological process of what people go through.
That predicament is insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you experiencing that, yeah.
So getting sentenced to 9.5 years was one of the happiest days of my life.
Sure, I mean...
I saw I was getting my life back. Now, this lawyer, the New Mexican Mafia told me this guy's a loophole lawyer. And he loopholed it. And the prosecutor, my nemesis, the detective, he almost tried to stop it.
Right.
In hard time, we describe what happens at my plea bargain thing hearing. The prosecutor, I think, has agreed to it, but it comes out in the hearing that because of I'm a non-violent first-time offender who's not an American citizen. This was the loophole.
Yeah, and you was an illegal at the whole time doing stuff as well, yeah.
It comes out that I only have to serve 50% of the balance of my sentence that I've not served yet. So I've done 26 months, but now I'm going to the Department of Corrections to serve the balance. It comes out that I only have to do 50% of what's left on the 9.5 years. The detective finds out and goes apeshit. And my sentencing is almost cancelled. And my family have flown 5,000 miles to come and visit me.
Crazy.
Because I come to this hearing and speak on my behalf. Anyway, the judge takes the prosecutor and my lawyer back in his chambers or whatever. We're all crapping ourselves. This has been one of the most intense days of our lives. I've been crying my eyes out listening to my dad say he would rather go in jail for me than me do the sentence.
Crazy.
This is how intense it was. They come back and they say the plea bargain is going to be upheld. And then that was it. I was just, oh my God, I felt all the stress and tension of fighting my case for 26 months just fucking shoot out my body. And
Crazy.
I felt like I was high.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess, okay, so you took the plea. They gave you the 9 years?
9.5.
9.5. And
of which I had to serve 6.
And what was the actual charge like that you...
So I was convicted of using an electronic device in a drug transaction.
Right.
Money laundering, and what was the other one? Was it something to do with another drug transaction, I think? So the money laundering was my wife took a check for drugs from one of our dealers. I was convicted of doing a weed deal or running a weed business, which I hadn't been running. My lawyer said, just take it, because running a weed business is better than the other drugs you're involved in.
Yeah, for sure.
So the call was, have you got the green drink? That's all I said. And that got
sentence.
That got me convicted of running a weed business, which I wasn't running.
Crazy.
And then the other one was using a phone to do electronic device to do a drug transaction.
Right.
Yeah. So there was 2 drug transactions and the check for the drugs.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Okay, so Shaun, prison. So yeah, deep breath and for sure. So
we've all seen the Shawshank Redemption, American History X.
Absolutely.
You think that's a movie?
What's the other one with the gangs real. And that?
It's real.
Blood in, blood out.
Blood in, blood out.
Vatos Locos.
Yeah.
For sure.
So in Arizona state, it's all racial gangs.
Right.
So as soon as you go in, because I'm a white guy, it's the neo-Nazi Aryan Brotherhood decide who lives and dies in my race. They decide the rules.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So the Nazis come up to me right away, and they've got like swastikas.
What are they? The NLRs? The Nazi?
No.
Oh.
Aryan Brotherhood.
Okay, ABs.
Yeah. ABs come up to me right away. It's covered in swastikas, lightning bolts. One of them, early on I saw a guy, he's got Hitler on his chest, overlooking a gas chamber of Jewish people dying inside the gas chamber.
That's disgusting.
It's hardcore. They got tattoos on their heads, their faces. Get in that cell over there. And you can't say no to these guys, or they're just going to smash your head into the wall. So walk into the cell. They come in behind me and they're like, what are your charges? Now, earlier on, you go through this part called the horseshoe, and you see a judge, and you get your charges, and it's on a little printout from the jail. So I put, I don't understand what my charges mean at this point. It's vernacular I'm not familiar with.
Right.
Criminal syndicates, conspiracy, enterprise. I don't know what the hell that means. So I give a really stupid answer. I say to the ABs, I don't know what my charges mean. Just trying to be honest, Now they got me up against the wall, about to smash me. What do you mean? You don't know what your charges mean? Are you a chomo? You a chomo? I don't even know what a chom was at this point.
Yeah, neither do I until, you said it,
yeah. So I pulled out the charge sheet. My Banged Up Abroad episode doesn't show this. It just shows them walking out the room, but they read my charge sheet. They see that I'm on for drug offences. They see my bail's $750,000 cash only. They're buzzing. Like, $750,000. God damn, who did you guys kill? Are you guys the mafia or what? I'm like, no, raves, ecstasy.
Right.
Then they explain all the rules.
So how many of them are in your cell, or the cell?
I think there was 3 of them.
3 of them. Cool.
Yeah.
And they said chomo. Chomo would mean child
molester.
Right.
Yeah, because some charges are KOS.
Right.
Such as child molesters.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're buzzing, I guess, when they see your charges, like, sort of thing. Yeah.
I saw what happened to an undercover child molester later on.
Oh, really?
But yeah, so they're kind of buzzing. They're kind of curious about. I'm from England. I tell them I've got my co-defendant is with me. He's a massive maniac called Wildman.
Right.
They're looking at me like I'm full of shit, but I could tell they're going to find out the truth. And the truth is he was in another tower. And I think when they found out that Wildman was with me, there was a certain amount of respect conferred. And I was safe in that environment, even though it was mayhem, absolute drug-fueled insanity. People were getting smashed every day.
Right.
Got used to the sounds of people's bodies getting thrown around, smashed into the walls, heads getting smashed against toilets.
Right.
Watched fights where people's teeth would just get knocked out in front of me and bounce on the floor. There was a mentally ill old man who wouldn't stop rambling all day. I walked right past him and blood just squirted out the back of his head. I don't know what the gang members had done to him.
Crazy.
And on and on and on it went in that place. And, like I said, I'm not a tough guy. I'm off the drugs now. I'm in the jail. My social anxiety is kicking in.
Yeah.
I'm hiding out of my cell, reading and writing. Don't want to get involved in the mix.
Crazy.
But you got to represent.
Yeah.
If you're a white boy, there's a thing called a white boy meeting.
No way.
So, like, say the head of the race gets moved, gets rolled up, or something, and they got to vote on a new head of the race.
Right.
The Nazis come to your door. White boy meeting, 5 minutes, cell 9, get your ass over there, and you got to vote on a new head of the race.
Crazy.
All kinds of shit like that, all kinds of politics.
What else is discussed? Like,
So I was my co-defendants were from all races.
Right.
I meet a guy in there called Sniper. He's a La Victoria, Tempe, Arizona gang member.
Okay.
I click up with Sniper and I'm working out with him. He's a nice guy.
Right.
The Woods, the Nazis, the white boys, roll up to me. They're like, hey, Wood. I'm like, what's up? They're like, can we have a word? I'm looking at Sniper. Sniper's looking at them.
And what's Sniper? What's his racial background?
So he's a La Victoria gang member. He's a Chicano.
Chicano, right?
Yeah, Mexican-American.
Cool.
He's looking at me, looking at them. He's like, yeah, go talk to your people. So they take me in the cell. They're like, look around the day room, Wood. I'm like, yep, looking around the day room. Just see any of the other white boys working out with the other races? Nope. They're like, you got a lot to learn, Wood. Now go finish your workout. And I go back to Sniper, and oh my God, that was, I couldn't do that anymore. Sniper was cool with it though. He understood more than me.
Yeah. I want to throw a name out there. Hopefully I pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, go for it.
Joe Arpaio?
Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Arpaio, right.
So he prided himself on being America's toughest sheriff.
Yeah.
But he was the architect of a house of horrors. And his mum died giving birth to him. I tried to understand how he could be so inhumane. And I don't think he had that maternal bond from his mum. So he created this house of horrors that he was proud of. And this isn't like paedophiles getting beat to death. This is like mentally ill people getting murdered by his own guards and him promoting them afterwards. This is how sick it was.
Crazy.
I had videos of that on my channel, but we had to take them down. They had millions of views.
For sure.
So he's got this place that's just drug and gang infested mayhem, all run by racial gangs. You got the guards smuggling the drugs in, and visitors bringing the drugs in, and the majority of the prisoners are injecting heroin, doing crystal meth, just running wild. I was classified to a medium security remand called Towers. You've got a guard tower, a fishbowl at the top of it with 2 guards looking down on 4 different housing areas designed for 15 people, but they've got 45 people in each. Each cell's got 3 people in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get a 4th person on the floor, triple bunked. So it's just absolute mayhem. The whole day just revolved around getting the drugs in.
Right.
And it's so sad to see people, and a lot of them I learned, because when I was raised to think, a heroin user is like a troll under a bridge, lock them up, throw away the key, they're out thieving all day. But when I heard the sad stories, they're fucking molested as kids.
Yeah.
They've seen their parents die, they're thrown away, they're raised on the streets. And they're on the drugs because they've never been given any help in life.
Do you know what? Like, the whole thing with drugs as well, it's like, for you to want to, I guess, consume a certain hard drug, like, you must be running away from something so insane. Like, that's something I've come to learn over the years, I think.
If you've been raped as a kid and you've not been given any help, you've maybe been put in a state care home where they're pimping the kids out and the staff are fucking molesting them too.
For sure.
Your head's fucked. So you end up on the streets taking heroin because that's the strongest drug to knock that out of your consciousness.
For sure.
And then to finance the heroin, you're doing crime. And if you're a guy, you're robbing, you're burglaring, you're stealing cars, armed robberies. And if you're a woman, you're doing sex work, or you're dealing drugs, or you're shoplifting. And I've interviewed hundreds of people now on my YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
And I've come to the conclusion it's the same path. Mm-hmm. The root cause of crime is childhood trauma, especially paedophilia. And that's why these paedophiles must be stopped, but they're not. They get slaps on the wrist. And who gets put in prison? The people who are involved in drugs. I'm not making excuses for what I did.
For sure.
Low-level drug users. I saw black kids, Mexican kids getting 2 to 5 years for weed possession because they had prior convictions. And the prison got $60,000 per person per year. It's an industry, man. The prison industrial complex is an industry.
Talk about it.
And it must be stopped. And that's why our mission statement on our YouTube channel is end the war on drugs, start the war on paedophiles.
I just want to say this as well, just to build on what you're saying, because I completely agree. It's like, you give a drug dealer whatever, you give him the kingpin charge, whatever. But, when it comes to the transaction of drugs, this is consensual. The person coming to, and not to excuse it, not at all, but I'm saying you have to understand that this is consensual. There's crimes where consent is not even there. Like you said, child molestation, rape. And the time people actually serve for these kind of crimes are it's minute compared to that thing. And it's like, this disparity is, to me personally, that's crazy. Just
absolute insanity. And it's all about the cheddar.
For sure.
The private prison contracts in the tens of billions a year right now.
Yeah.
Human beings are commodities. You've got these super warehouses where you've got them all on bunk beds and the overhead is way down and the politicians are getting tens of millions a year to keep the contracts rolling. It doesn't matter which party wins the election. It's all about the money. Yeah. And the activists, there's an army of us online, but we're up against that wall of money.
Definitely.
And that's why these fuckers are campaigning free strikes laws. If you steal a pizza in California, you're going to do life. What the fuck is that?
The Clintons come up with that, innit?
Oh my God. They were selling the blood of prisoners.
Yeah.
The Clinton crime family was selling the tainted blood of prisoners to the worldwide market when they knew it was tainted. And there are people still dying to this day all over the world. Sure. When Bill Clinton was the governor of Arkansas, those contracts were handed out. They knew it was tainted. Arkansas was the last state to stop tainting it because they wanted to squeeze as much money as possible for the rich people to take the poorest, most vulnerable people's blood.
Yeah.